very close, just down the hall. That is also where the study and the audience chamber are. Achilles' face brightens with a pearly white smile, restoring some of his former good looks. Lady Theodora's study has remained locked since her departure, but on account of your arrival, we've arranged for it to be tidied up. It is ready whenever you may need it. Dismissed. I apologize for my bluntness, but I have a request to make. Perhaps before the meeting takes place, the illustrious Lord Captain could spare a few minutes for a conversation with me. Achilles bows his head. I'm certain that you will find my report on the state of affairs in the Von Valancius Protectorate most useful. Clementia sounds like something you need a prescription ointment to get rid of. Oh no. Oh. I'm just controlling one person now. The rest of my group is not here. Toss a coin. Glinting in the light, the coin falls into the clear water and sinks to the bottom. Toss a prime to your twitcher, oh valley of plenty. Oh man, I can't pick this lock reliably because Pascal's not with me. He's my lock picker person. Guess you found a new hub? I guess so. Yoink. I own the planet, I'm allowed to take this. A living fruit-bearing tree in the heart of the hive world is a fantastical sight. They probably use a lot more water to tend to this tree than the average Dargona citizen can hope to receive in their daily ration. Yurliet. The walls of your home suffocate me, Alontak. I long to leave this twisted world at the first opportunity. Our sister of battle is way back here. Oh, immortal god emperor, be merciful to us. Oh, is this like a praying shrine thing? The large painting upon the altar depicts some saint whose visage you do not recognize. The frame has seen wear and tear. Entering Von Valancius's palace. It's Muck Von Luck Von Valancius. Welcome, your lordship. Let me inform you of the location of the chambers on your dynastic estate. Please do inform. Get informing. The main throne room is up the stairs and straight ahead. Your subject Achilles Scalander informed me that he humbly awaits the opportunity to meet with you there. It's funny, these prompts always are there for way too long, but the prompts when I inspect something is always way too short. If your lordship wishes to rest after your long journey, your personal chambers are up the stairs and to the right. Man. If you need anything, whatever your soul desires, I'll be right next to your chambers, eagerly awaiting your orders. Okay. Just don't try to assassinate me, bro. Yoink! To the outside.
What is that?
Secret boots. Breeze catcher boots. When the wearer moves through a cell occupied by an enemy, they gain 50% dodge against the enemy's attacks until their next turn. Oh, for like attacks of opportunity. The leather covers bear the names of the authors, mostly philosophers and theologians from Dargonis. Like I said, the spines of the books are trimmed with gold. The cogitators producing rhythmic sounds, among which a faint ringing stands out. The remains of a plaque can be seen from the frame. Alas, the inscription is completely indistinguishable due to the patina. Patina? Electrified shard net? This antique piece of furniture is obviously well cared for, but its surface is still covered with a lot of scuffs, scratches, and stains, traces of the previous rogue traders who sat at this table. A sturdy safe equipped with several bizarre mechanisms. That looked really weird, that everything was just pure blackness for a second there. I was like, what? Why am I rolling over a void? There's a faint mark on the polished mantelpiece, which was likely left by a glass. The bed for the head of the Rogue Trader dynasty is befitting the status of its owner. According to the inscription on the statue, this is a gift from House Gaprak to the Von Valancius dynasty. Abelard. While we're on Dargonis, I will check the secretary's reports and keep an eye on the logisticians. Master Danrock does his job well, but a little scrutiny goes a long way with him. My compliments to your taste in art. The collection here is extensive and most interesting. Yo, I've never been here before, but thank you. My appearance has caused a slight disturbance in the ranks of the servants of the Omnisci assigned to this palace. Analysis of the performance of rituals and maintenance litanies has produced a satisfactory result. Glad they're doing their job. The lack of observers on this world has led your nobles to become extremely complacent. Today alone, I overheard 3 statements that if I so wanted could be turned into grounds of a charge for heresy. Oh my god. The slender figure, clad in robes made from expensive fabric, shudders from violent coughing. Pressing a gilded respirator to his face, the man takes several deep breaths. Achilles, it has been many moons. I hope your cousin is feeling well. Achilles covers his burnt lips, trying and failing to suppress a coughing fit. She is in good health. She sends her regards to you as well, as she wishes for your swift return. For, Heinrichs frowns. For as long as the stars shine in the sky, my vigil continues. So it does. Achilles thumps himself on the chest with his augmented hand. You can hear the clanging of metal against metal. Man, what did this guy live through? Let's see. Chuck says I had to respec all my characters by the end of Act 1 because there are so many options. I haven't done any respecking, but I completely understand the sentiment. Say nothing. My apologies, Muck Von Luck. Given the break in the communications between systems in the Expanse, it has become difficult to maintain contact with agents. Receiving this report and assessing the situation is my primary responsibility. He looks at Achilles. Allow me to introduce Achilles Scalander properly. In addition to his duties as Secretary of the Administratum, he acts as an agent of the Golden Throne under my aegis. Master Scalander was transferred into my remit by a colleague who is engaged in other matters of the Coronis Expanse. I'm sure you will find Achilles' service useful, especially when dealing with the schemes of humanity's foes within the borders of your protectorate. Greetings, Lord Muckavon Luck von Valancius. Allow me to once again express my deepest condolences on the loss of Lady Theodora. I will do everything I can to track down and destroy all of Kunrad Voigtvir's accomplices in the capital world. Do you know anything of what has become of Kunrad Voigtvir? The former Master of Whispers is a heretic and traitor to the dynasty. He nods grimly. Word of his treason reached Argonis too late. Kunrad came to the planet and left it almost immediately once he had sown discord in the minds of the gullible and naive. The worst of the rumors he started was that you were the one responsible for Lady Theodora's sudden demise. Of course, your loyal subjects did their best to skin alive any who showed signs of doubt, but it seems unlikely that the Wardens got to everyone who has allowed doubt into their heart and now nurtures it in secret. The scars on your face. What happened? About, coughs, 5 years ago, there was an accident. Several tanks of promethium exploded in the storehouse at my estate, and I was buried alive under the rubble. The Emperor preserved my soul, and the skilled physicians of Dargonas saved my body, except for my lungs, for which I had to part. I presume the incident was an attempt on my life, but the identity of whoever was behind it remains a mystery. You promised me a report on the present state of affairs in the Protectorate. I have already forwarded all official reports to your Seneschal. As for the conversation we're having right now, I wouldn't trust any paper or data slate with its contents. You see, Lady Theodora, may the Emperor have mercy on her soul, was perfectly aware of Dargonas' political environment. You, however, have only just arrived on the capital world, and I thought it would be best to bring you up to speed. Frankly, the nobles of Dargonas, much like nobles on most worlds, are akin to spiders in a jar, ready to pounce on whoever's the weakest or whoever they deem to be the weakest. The nobles of Dargonas are well-respected, rich, and powerful individuals who held Lady Theodora's favor for many years and found ways to rise above the rest by diligently serving the rogue trader. Every family pursues its own selfish interests, and each one expects that with the transition of power, they'll retain and even add to their lands and wealth. The families I would recommend giving particular attention to are the Drivestems, the Caprocs, and the Sarbaks. I should also mention the Wersarians, not a noble house per se, but a family that was part of Lady Theodora's inner circle, to get to the Blue Blood's great displeasure. Tell me about the Drivestem. Oh, tell me about the Drivestems. The Drivestems are the ancient governor house of Dargonas. Predictably, the greater the wealth of the Von Valancius Protectorate, the fuller their coffers grow. They just bankers? Their reputation is flawless except for one detail. We have evidence that urban Drivestem's rivals seem to have the misfortune of regularly falling victim to Xenos raids. Oh, so they're like the Clintons. I find that these attacks are always a little too advantageous for the Drivestems, but we lack solid proof, and it might never serve us. Okay, so it's exactly like the Clintons. The closer an official is to a rogue trader, the braver and safer they feel. I would just like to remind everyone that rubbing shoulders with Xenos is a heresy that can be overlooked only in the case of the Von Valancius heir, not his servant. Me with two Xenos gals on my retinue. What makes the Caprocs special? The Caprocs hail from a remote forge world, and among their distant relatives, there are many servants of the Omnissiah, and their house itself is close to the cult of the Adeptus Mechanicus, both in spirit and in their business connections. The Caprocs oversaw the industrial shipments within your protectorate until recently. Ever since the astropathic communication with Kiava Gamma was severed, they've been quite concerned about the security of the planet placed in their care. Two, only one Zeta. Oh yeah, we got the mutant navigator, and we've got the Eldari lady. Are they not both considered Xenos? I thought mutants were Xenos too. Maybe that's my mistake. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. What can you tell me about House Sarbak? Religious and hardworking. The Sarbaks own many enterprises, including distillation manufactorums that produce promethium. I must note that lately members of the Sarbak family have been prone to overly liberal statements about the Von Valancius dynasty. They believe that Lady Theodora is a bit too keen to leave her worlds without proper oversight. Navigators are sanctioned type of mutants, so no, they're not considered Xenos. Oh, okay, my bad then. I would like to know more about the Wersarians. The Wersarians are a line founded by Lady Theodora's Seneschal, and as such are nominally considered nobility, at least from the standpoint of the Imperial Navy, from which Lord Abelard hails. On Dargonas, however, their position is precarious. Firstly, they never were granted an official title, a process which has been impeded for decades by the old houses of Dargonas, and secondly, the other families do not see them as equals, but more as upstarts clinging to the rogue trader's favor. The Wersarians are responsible for the captain's capital world fleet and the majority of the cargo shipments on domestic routes. There's an option that says execute everyone you just told me about. Enough about the nobles. Was there anything else you wanted to report? There was, your lordship, and this time it concerns the main reason for my presence on this planet. Xenos and the threat they pose to you and humanity as a whole. The last few months have been difficult for the people who report to me. My eyes and ears scattered throughout the Cronus expanse, warp disturbances, astropaths overcome with madness, ships disappearing in the immaterium. Many of my observers and contacts have gone dark or have been killed by some calamity or other. Still, I managed to establish communication with some key individuals who are able to warn me about incoming threats, including Xenos raids. He looks you in the eye without blinking. It is within my power to supply you with intelligence on where and when Xenos will strike next. I do not doubt that Governor Drivestem will beg you for protection against the Xenos, and in this fight, the information from my contacts will serve you well. I beseech you, Muck Von Luck, if I ever report a threat looming over a ship or a planet, do not dismiss it. Sometimes it takes an intervention from the rogue trader and his mighty void ship to avert a disaster. Okay, bye. He bows. According to the message I received a few minutes ago, Governor Drivestem has arrived in court. I imagine that the Chancellor is already prepared to arrange the meeting. All that's left is notify her that you are ready to see Urband. Alright. Your Lordship. Clementia bows her head politely. For a Chancellor to a rogue trader, she is dressed rather simply. A parade doublet, polished boots, and a comfortable cloak. She bears a saber and a gilded scabbard. Whether for show or protection, she could not say. Only her ring with a Rosarian coat of arms indicates that she is of the highest social stratum. The governor is waiting on the periphery of the palace. Please let me know when you would like to see him. Arcadian says all mutants are human, just some are tolerated while others are shot on sight. Oh, jeez. Are Ogryn considered mutants? Most of my knowledge of Ogryn comes from Darktide and a couple of YouTube videos. I know that they're all basically male, and they're basically, like, grown. They are mutants. Okay. Awareness test success. The sharp gaze, the impeccably straight back, the composure. For a moment, you feel like you're looking at a younger version of Abelard himself, not his heir. Judging by the scars on the exposed parts of her body, she saw her fair share of combat prior to assuming the position of Chancellor. What are your responsibilities as Chancellor? To put it simply, I am your trade representative. Any and all decrees, deals, official communications, and meetings are first reviewed by me and then forwarded to you and from you down the hierarchy. My purview also includes overseeing your lordship's property, the palace, the estates, the many gardens, and your demesnes in Dargonis that you have inherited from Lady Theodora. And whenever you are present on Dargonis, consider me your personal secretary. What can you tell me about Dargonis? All deals and important decisions are made here in the capital. Many years ago, the ancestor of Lady Theodora signed an agreement with the Adeptus Administratum which allowed for efficient management of the world and the neighboring systems. In accordance with the decree, a share of the planet's population was assigned to the Administratum and converted into servitor scribes. They now wait, hold on. A share of the planet's population was assigned to the Administratum and converted into servitor scribes. They just took a chunk of the population and lobotomized them to make them secretaries? They now toil across the entire world. Dargonis is also the seat of several noble families who run all the major planets in the Protectorate. If I may express a not-so-humble opinion, they care very little about who exactly stands at the helm. Those piranhas think about their own profits just as much as they do about the prosperity of the Protectorate itself, if not more. Navigators are beneficial to the Empire. They're effectively nobles and treated like nobles. There are a lot of different types of recognized mutants. Xenos are aliens. Ogryns are mutants, but they are human. They grew up in a heavily gravity world, if I recall, and adapted to survive that, which resulted in growth of frame and muscle and bone, but also dumbing them down. I might be wrong here. I'm remembering fringe knowledge. Navigators being... Yeah, I saw in a YouTube video that, like, the smartest ogre ever could count to 3, or something like that. Navigators being one of the only ways human vessels can navigate the warp, they're treated like proper nobles. Okay. Yeah, I knew the thing about how the Emperor, like when you're in the warp, the light from the Emperor is like the North Star, and it's used to for navigation. I never knew about that it required a special type of individual, a navigator, to see that North Star. I just thought any psyker could do it. So that was something I didn't understand until this game. And lastly, Dargonis has its own fleet, a luxury unavailable to the vast majority of the other worlds in your realm. In addition to warships, the Protectorate also employs privateer ships, which are used to transport cargo between worlds. If the noble houses are so volatile, what sense is there in keeping them? Over the many centuries, an intricate hierarchy has formed within the ruling elite of Dargonis. The great houses do more than plunder your treasury. It is replenished to a large degree thanks to their administrative work in their lands. Naturally, you can get rid of anyone whom you consider surplus to requirements, but right now, it could threaten the fragile stability that is currently holding the Protectorate together. Does the capital stay in contact with the other worlds in the Protectorate? Unfortunately, not at this time, your lordship. After the few representatives of the Adeptus Astra Telepathica on Dargonis went into a frenzy, some of the Psychers were tragically pacified by the respective authorities. Since then, communication with the neighboring systems has been unreliable at best. Thanks to the Master of Mankind that you managed to find your way to the capital. Are there any other issues I should be aware of? Apart from the disrupted communications, Dargonis was recently raided by enemies of humanity. However, the fleet under the command of Captain Marthius Horsarian triumphed over the accursed Xenos. If you ask for my opinion on the matter, we have the situation completely under control. Do you have enough water? Yo, I have been chugging this. Awareness test succeeded. You catch her avoiding your gaze for just a moment. But the first time, it is obvious that Clementia is looking out for her house's good name. But despite the confidence in her tone, you can tell she does not entirely believe her own words. Tell me about Governor Drivestem. Urban Drivestem is a well-respected man, and not just on Dargonis, but throughout the Protectorate. For many centuries, his house has supported the capital's administratum and the logistics between the Von Valancius system. The Drivestem's efforts secured years of order and prosperity for Dargonis. What's more, Lady Theodora personally insisted that Lord Urban specifically be made the next governor. Fellowship success. The way you speak of Drivestem, I hear a hint of either contempt or resentment. No, I don't believe I feel either, your lordship. Clementia's steely eyes stare into the distance, her jaw clenching visibly. She speaks in a polite but clipped manner, clearly flustered by your insight. We have different views on how to run a world. We sometimes have discussions over the laws that are enacted, but we both work for the good of the Von Valancius Protectorate. That much can be said without a doubt. Thank you for the report, Chancellor. I serve the Von Valancius Protectorate, your lordship. Looking over at chat again. From all the tabletop games that I played, RPG version, not wargame, I rarely ever saw astropaths outside of Rogue Trader settings. They existed, but were very much over there, and not something you dealt with. Astropaths basically spend their lives making long-distance calls. Okay. Achilles Scalander. Does he cause any problems? Why, none at all, your lordship. Secretary Scalander is an outstanding individual and a loyal servant of the Von Valancius dynasty. In Lady Theodora's absence, we collaborated on a number of issues related to the well-being of your domain, and he has proven himself quite capable. And I don't know why, but even the governor trembles before Achilles, which is unusual for a man of his, well, shall we say, standing. The last word brings a slight smile to her lips. I wonder if this guy's in a wheelchair and she's bullying him right now, and I don't even know. Tell them I'm ready to see the governor. She bows before leaving. I shall arrange for him to be escorted to your study. Governor Urban Drivestem. Muck von Luck von Valancius. 20th in his... Why is everything, like, wiggling? 20th in his line, rogue trader, keeper of the sacred warrant, and ruler of the Coronis expanse from the Chronox system to the 100 Dreams Crossroads. I bid you welcome. Oh, Crossroad of 100 Dreams. That's where those 3 enemy ships were that beat my butt earlier. Urban Drivestem, governor of this great world. First and foremost, please accept my deepest condolences. It will be difficult to recover from the loss of a woman as great as Theodora von Valancius. It pains me to think that she is no longer with us. The citizens of Dargonis and of the entire Protectorate grieve alongside you. Please allow us to declare half a year of mourning so that we can honor the memory of our beloved lady. Half a year of mourning? I don't know what's normal in this situation. Mourn for a full year. Just celebrate me. Or do as you see fit. There is no need. I am the new ruler of the Protectorate. Let my subjects rejoice in my arrival instead. The bewilderment causes the wrinkles on Drivestem's glossy face to soften. Your lordship, these are centuries-old traditions, sacred customs, and rules. Do not forget who it is you serve, Urban Drivestem. If it is the rogue trader's wish not to have a mourning ceremony, Abelard's voice grates unpleasantly, then so be it. Perhaps the parvenu installed by Lady Theodora cares not for the sacred traditions of our founding ancestors. The governor gives a meaningful nod in Abelard's direction. But Muck von Luck von Valancius is a descendant of the true children of Dargonus. It behooves the ruler of a world to honor its customs. I do honor traditions, Governor. Later, when things in the Protectorate settle down, we will declare a mourning period. As you will, your lordship. He bows his head. Esteemed Muck von Luck, Lady Theodora was a strong leader, and we ought to follow her example. Let us lean on our wisdom and persevere in spite of this tragedy. Together, and let us carry on where she no longer can by leading the Von Valancius Protectorate to even greater prosperity. Drivesim gives you a look of admiration. It seems he is quite aware of your fame, and this opportunity to curry favor with such an eminent figure is one he does not wish to miss. There is something in Drivesim's gaze you find troubling. Is it a hint of reproach, mockery, condemnation? You are uncertain whether this is indeed true or merely your guilty conscience playing tricks on you, stirring up memories of your past under the governor's keen gaze. Alas, it won't be an easy task to accomplish. Some time ago, the astropaths of Dargonus flew into a rage. They had to be subdued. We are gradually restoring our ability to speak with neighboring worlds, but the contacts are still weak, and the routes are tangled and no longer lead to systems that the captains expect them to. Given that the vast majority of ships in the Dargonus Navy travel without relying on the service of navigators, without your equipment, the well-being of the Von Valancius dynasty and billions of its subjects is presently at risk. We met a ship from Dargonus not too long ago. The crew was transporting a strange artifact and went mad during the flight. This is truly a regrettable bit of news. What's more, leaving Dargonus has been forbidden for several cycles now. It seems the Wersarian family has once again failed in their primary responsibilities. Oh man, he just throws him under a bus. He shoots Abelard a condescending look. We will investigate this at once, as well as the fact that the ship had to acquire a permit from the with the administratum seal. Does your nephew still serve at the palace? I'll kill your family. Not if I kill your family first. The governor presses a number of buttons on the cogitator built into his bracer and looks up at you in surprise. I don't understand. The ship did indeed depart from orbit, but it did so, if you could believe it, on the rogue trader's authorization. That is why no one dared to impede its departure. Lord Captain, it would seem that Kunrad somehow got his hands on a copy of your authorization, or perhaps even the original. A tool like that in the hands of a traitor does not bode well. Kunrad de Voigtvia, former Master of Whispers, is a heretic and a traitor. Has he shown his face on Dargonus? The governor pensively strokes his rings glittering on his fingers. Lord Voigtvia visited the capital some time ago. He did not request a personal meeting. A heretic, you say? Now I see where all the whispering in the corridors has come from. I shall be frank with you, your lordship. Lady Theodora's sudden death was a blow to every one of us, and the absence of any sort of verifiable and complete information about her successor gives grounds for all manner of rumors and misinterpretations, especially if someone is deliberately inciting unrest and discontent. Naturally, no one would dare challenge you by accusing you of something as sacrilegious as murdering a rogue traitor. However, Kunrad Voigtvir was once a true boon to the Protectorate back in the day, and as such, some might heed his words. Look at the heretical choice. Publicly rip out the vocal cords and tongues of every slanderer and replace them with vox implants that sing the praises of rogue traitor Muck von Luck von Valancius without interruption. Oh my god. That's so messed up. Imagine you can't talk anymore. Well, you can, but all you can say is praise be this guy who I hated on, and it just goes non-stop, and you can't sleep. That you'd be driven insane. I'm gonna go iconoclast. My subjects' doubts are understandable. Too many things have changed in too short a span. I will prove myself worthy of my position. Why, Muck von Luck, your desire is most commendable. But please do not forget, a ruler should never bow to their attendants, or some might see it as a sign of weakness. What exactly do the Dargonus nobility expect from me in light of the loss of routes and communications with other worlds? We are troubled by the fate of the agri-world Janus that supplied Dargonis and other planets with foodstuffs. Empty stomachs can drive even the mildest rabble to revolt. Furthermore, House Gaproc is perturbed by the loss of communication with the industrial world Kiava Gamma, which is in their charge. But, if you wish to know my opinion, the one that deserves your attention the